I just want to take that song and that you all, that Terry that you sang and Nancy that you played. That is such a beautiful song. And it just really touched me when, as I was sitting there, because sometimes, like when I do my talks, it, the music shifts me and it shifts my talk. And I might need to hold this a little closer. So, this talk on a spirit that calms the storm. I'm setting my timer right quick. I had to think about how I was going with this talk. And even as I was sitting there, I could just feel as I was driving here this morning and I was rushing out of the house to get here. And part of me, then I got into my car and I arrived here. I was like, oh crap, I forgot this, I forgot this, I forgot this. I'm like, okay, I can't go back home now because I'm parked right across the street. But in the midst of that, I was sitting in the car. And what it reminded me of is that I was creating a storm within myself. And I had to quiet myself down. I had to just, you know what? It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I made it here safely. Peace, be still. And I could feel this calmness that came over me. And then as I was sitting here, I was going through my notes, and I'm like, okay, do I need to make this change in here, make this change in? And then Terry sang, and it's just like, okay, bring it down, bring it down. But how many times are you in these storms? How many times have you gone to work or been out in traffic, or even if you're looking at the news, the things that are happening right now around the world? And we find ourselves in this place that we get angry, that we get upset, we get, our blood boiling pretty much sometimes. Think about in those places, what is it doing to our bodies? What is it doing to our own spirit within? But what I know is that that spirit within us, it knows how to calm us because it is us. When we are in this place of anger, resistance, there is what I've experienced is this thing of that it goes out into the world. That I'm speaking, it's like if I'm coming from a place of anger, anger comes back at me and it doesn't feel good when that happens. So I have to remember words have power. Our energy has power because the energy that we hold within us, people can feel that a mile away. How many times have you walked into a room sometimes and you can just feel the energy like there's something tense that's happening in here? It's like, ooh, I don't know if I want to be here or not. Or you walk in, it's like, okay, let me not, let me meet this energy, but allow me to, how do I bring it down? Whereas it doesn't affect me. And I've gone into several places and I walked in, I'm just like, ooh, okay, something happened here. I don't know what, but let me just go into prayer. That's that peace within that helps to calm those storms. Because so many times it's so easy in our family dynamics. You know, how many of us have perfect families in here? Perfectly what? But it's like things come up in our family dynamic lives. Again, I'm going to reference it's like, I'm at a funeral home. So it's like, so the services that I see sometimes, you see some of the family dynamics and you see the families that don't get along with each other show up. But what the thing that I realize is that before I start, before the family even comes in, I set a tone for that space. And I allow myself to be that calm in whatever the storm may be that may show up. I allow spirit to move through me and to say, just go and stand next to that person. Hug that person if they're open to it. Speak a kind word to that person. And in that moment, whatever tension they may have been feeling, you can feel that there's a calmness that's happening within them. And then by the end of the service, when people are on their way out, people come and just say, "Thank you for your presence. Thank you for how you showed up. I really appreciated that." But we all have that opportunity to show up in that capacity. Nearer than the air. That's how spirit operates. It's like it's the very breath that we breathe. It resides within us. Spirit is truly that calm of the storm. But just know that when we step into this place of peace, when we're in our mindsets thinking, "Peace be still," when I think about how Yeshua, when he was out in the boat and it's like and the waters were coming through, and he said, "Peace be still," and the waters calmed. But the thing was, he had to be in a place that he was already calm in order to calm the waters. And that's how we are when we show up in a room. We show up in a place. If you know that you're going into a board meeting or some type of meeting that you know in the past there's been animosity, how do you show up and say, "I know what happened last time, but I'm bringing peace to this meeting. I'm bringing peace to this atmosphere." And you can say, "Peace be still," even before you walk into the room. And you can feel the energy. Somebody may look at you like, "Ooh, why are you here? What's going on?" No, you don't belong here. Yes, you do. Because the thing is that we all belong. In this time of this peace, peace resides within us. It is us. When I think about storms come in so many different forms. The storm of injustice that still tries to silence voices of the oppressed. The storm of division that says some lives matter more than others. The storm of fear and anxiety in our own bodies and minds. The storm of grief that weighs on families, generations, and whole peoples. But hear this. Storms may be real, but storms are not final. That's not the end result. The storm is not greater than the spirit that's within us. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice." Peace is not passive. Peace is power. Peace is presence. Peace is spirit at work. As you all know, it's like, as I mentioned, we live in a world that seems there's a lot of turbulence happening right now, a lot of ups and downs, and we don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, next year. Things have been put in place that affect our today and tomorrow and next year as well. Even in our families, storms come up, in our communities, even in our own hearts, within our own selves. Sometimes we have turbulence within our own selves because sometimes we think we're not good enough. We can't do this. I don't know how to do this, but it's like, and we get frustrated. I know I've been there sometimes, it's like, and I'll get frustrated. I know how to do this. How come I can't figure this out? But what I know is that in those moments, when we go within, there is an answer that shows up. That spirit will guide us to say, "Just go have a seat. Put this away for now and go have a seat." And as you're there, being in the stillness, in that quiet space, an answer shows up. What's yours to do shows up. How to work out a problem shows up, greater than what we could have ever imagined. Because so many times we operate in our egoic self, that we show up in this way of that we may feel like we're better than, or we can do this better than someone else. But when we're in that space, are we listening? Are we allowing ourselves to listen to that inner voice? Are we allowing ourselves to listen to those that are around us, whose voices we're trying to oppress. Because sometimes it's like, and I think about people that I work with sometimes, and they come with a great idea sometimes, and in my mind, I'm like, I know how to do this. And I've had to catch myself a couple of times. Okay, what's your idea? Let me hear what you have to say. Let's try this out. So many times, that's that storm. Because what could have happened is if I continue to be in the space of shutting them down, not wanting to hear what they had to say, it would have built up a huge storm. And Spirit stopped me. It's like, let them speak. What do you have to say? And I took that and I was like, oh, okay, let's try this out. That was a great idea, huh? Go figure. For me, it's like it's so important to get our bloated nothingness out of the way in times of how we want to respond to certain situations. And it's not to say that we can't respond in anger, just don't live there. Don't allow that anger, that frustration, that fear to dictate your lives. Because the thing is, your lives, because the thing is that when we allow that anger, that frustration, all of that to build, that creates this huge storm. How many times have you seen like a cartoon and like and somebody's like walking around, they have a black cloud over them? That's a storm that they've built up of fear, of anger, of resistance, and it's following them because they've not let it go. They're holding on to it. And that's the thing, when we can turn this over to Spirit and ask, what are we to do? And we may not get an answer right away, but be open to knowing that there is an answer that's coming. It always shows up. My prayer continues to be for this country that we live in, for this to truly be a world that works for all. And what does that mean? It's like, I don't know the outcome of how that shows up, but what I do know is that Spirit knows exactly what to do. And it's like, and if we pay attention, there are things that are shifting right now. And it may not have been as quickly as as we wanted it to happen. But the thing is that all that muck needed to come up from underground. It had to come to the surface, one, for us to be able to recognize this underground storm that's there. And it had to come up to the surface for us to be able to acknowledge what we're seeing, what's happening, and then ask, how do I help to heal this? How do I help to heal myself in what I'm seeing? This is that peace be still, because as this is coming up, whatever the it is, as it continues to rise underneath, coming through the dirt and everything else, we're seeing some people's true colors, or their supposed true colors, because that's not Spirit's true colors. That's the egoic's true colors. We're seeing those colors showing up, and it's not very pretty. And it's easy to talk badly about people, because people, how many times people have talked badly about us? It's like somebody may have said some negative comment that may not have been true about us. And if you hear it, how does that make you feel? It's the same thing as we're speaking these negatives out into the world, because underneath of all of these individuals, there is God. God resides in every person that we see. Now, how they're choosing to show up is a different story. But underneath of every person is God. And the thing is, when you all were saying namaste, it's like the divine in me sees the divine in you. Continue to hold that space, because the storm is still brewing right now. It's still coming. But if you could just take a moment when you're seeing this, when you're watching the news, peace be still. Peace be still. hold that energy, but there has to be that within ourselves that we're putting out into the world. When we allow spirit to lead, not fear, not our ego, not the latest headlines, but spirit alone, each decision that we make, each response, each action, we let it come from the well of peace within us, not from that fear space. There is, again, I'm still sitting with, because all I keep hearing is peace, be still. And it's like, and then it takes me to the song that we sing at the end of service. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. That's not just a song, that's a prayer. That's a prayer that calms storms. And many communities that I'm a part of, I was in Vallejo last week, and that's their end song as well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. When the storms show up, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. When the anger shows up, let there be peace, and let it begin with me. When resistance shows up, let there be peace, and let it begin with me. This is how we calm these storms. When Spirit is guiding us to take action, we don't know what the action may be. It could be to sign petitions. It could be out. So many people are out marching, and they're not out marching in this place of anger. They're marching in this place of peace because they want to see peace in the world. Even as I'm experiencing the soldiers being sent out to the different cities and states right now. One of them was my hometown, D.C. And I have family and friends there, and I'm asking, it's like, it's been so topsy-turvy. And in my prayer, I just continue to know that there is peace that is happening in each and every place where it seems like there's disruption. Because what we know is that it's not the disruption of the crime, although crime has to stop eventually. But although they're saying that crime levels have lowered, but when you're sending in this energy of sending in military forces, that creates a storm because now it's like it's fear, it's anger, it's resistance, as if the people that are in power in those areas are not taking care of their place. Peace be still. When the people are out there protesting, holding this place of peace, there's a calmness that has to be there within them. Because if they're showing up in anger, but speaking peace, wherever that energy is, if the energy is on anger, more anger is going to show up even as they're speaking peace. But if they're showing up from this peaceful heart, you can feel the peace that shows up. We take this into our daily lives. As I think about with Labor Day, this weekend we're celebrating Labor Day. And this is that time that we honor those who have labored for freedom, for justice, for dignity in the world, in the workplaces, wherever it may be. We honor the strength of Black laborers who built this nation, often without recognition, often without pay. We honor immigrants, mothers, fathers, and children who worked with blistered hands and tired feet to create a better tomorrow. And then what we see is that those efforts are being buried down, trying to be erased in these moments. But the thing is, you can't erase spirit because spirit is in every one of those individuals. You can't erase what spirit has created. You can try, people will remember. When we pray, prayer is a labor of spirit. When we teach, when we're speaking, it's a labor of truth. When we care for the sick or the elderly, for children, that is a labor of love. For our families, our loved ones, that's a labor of love. When we organize for justice, we're laboring for freedom. We all matter. And I need you to hear this, that we all matter in this. You matter, you belong. No matter what anyone may say or think or do, You matter and you belong. You too on Zoom also, you matter, you belong. Not because of what you own, not because of who you know, not because of the degrees on your wall, the color of your skin, the language that you speak, or the money in your pockets. You matter because spirit is in you. You belong because you are woven into the fabric of creation of itself. This world tries to divide us, black against white, rich against poor, citizens against immigrants, religions against one another, queer against straight, men against women. But hear this: in God, there is no them, there is only us. We matter. And knowing who we are, we have the power to calm the storms. Thank you, Spirit, for this time together. I just keep feeling this energetic that there's this swell that's happening, that's coming up to the surface, that's calling our attention. It's calling for our prayers, calling for us to hold the peace on this planet right now. Mother Gaia right now is in so much turmoil right now. And it's like, and what is it that we're doing? How are we showing up to hold her in this space of absolute love with all the anger that's coming up on this planet now, with the fears and the violence that we see in our mind's eye? No peace, no the calming spirit that is available to us, to each one of us. Howard Thurman reminds us that community cannot for long feed on itself. It can only flourish where always the boundaries of a person are respected and revered. When we see these individuals, we respect who they are. We may not respect the title of the work that we do, but we respect the divine within them. There is a God that created each one of us, that moves us in this right and perfect direction of calming a storm. So I invite you the next time that you have a storm that shows up, even if you're driving on the freeway and somebody cuts you off or gets too close on your behind you, sometimes peace be still. Sometimes it's like I've been in, I can see them in my mirror and I'll put up a peace sign like that. And it's like, and they'll either back away or they'll move over to the next one and kind of come around me. But I'm like, you can't disturb my peace. That's the thing we have to be in. You can't steal my peace because God within me knows me. I may try to, it's like steal my peace sometimes because I'll show up in certain circumstances, but I remember, this isn't feeling good. Let's go back. Let's calm down. Peace be still. And in that, let's go into prayer. Whew. In this moment, right here and right now, just recognizing the divine that resides in each one of us, that God is, I am, and all truly is well. God is, you are, and all is well. The God that resides in each one of us knows exactly what it's doing in every moment of our waking lives, knowing that the decisions that we make as we tap within to that spirit within, that it guides us, it leads us into the right and perfect direction. It guides and leads us into knowing and doing what it is that we are here to do, what is ours to do in any given moment. There is that resides within us that knows us better than we know ourselves because it created us. And knowing that at any moment, when storms seem heavy, when they start seeming rocky and moving about, we can take a step back or maybe even stand in the middle of the storm and say, peace, be still. Peace, be still. even within our own selves, we can take this space of when we're in turmoil within our own lives and affairs within ourselves. Peace. Be still. I am so grateful for this time together, for this day that God has created, this day that we will never experience again. Grateful for all that has taken place from this point forward, all the opportunities that we are reminded of who and whose we are, that knowing that as we move throughout this day, this blessed day, God is walking right there with us, in us, knowing that wherever it is that we may go for our next destination, that God meets us and greets us there. The people that we see, that we interact with, we see the face of God. We see that presence within, knowing that that presence within them recognizes the presence within me, and vice versa. How good it is to know that God is in absolute control, even during the times that we think that there's nothing happening. Trust and believe that God is doing his perfect work to make this right. And it may not happen in the time that we want it to show up, but know that it is being made right, right here, right now. So I'm just grateful for this time, for this prayer, for these words, for spirit that is just moving through me in this moment. And I just allow myself to continue to be open to receiving and hearing and listening to that is mine to do. And I invite you all to do the same. In these storms, ask, how can you steal the peace? How can you be the peace and the calmness and the peace in the world? And be open to what Spirit guides you to do. So I just give thanks for this time, for this prayer, for these words that Spirit has just moved through me. Giving thanks for all that the words that have been spoken are already gone out into the law, and they cannot return to me void, that they must do that we have asked it to do. Be patient in this process. Know that it is already working out right here, right now. And so I just give thanks, knowing that it is so. And I anchor this with, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Aho. Blessed be.